And of course, we also have our corporate sponsors. I would like to invite Stacey Dodson to the stage, please, such that it is. Sorry, I'm spreading out here. Stacey is the market president for U.S. Bank here in Oregon and Southwest Washington. U.S. Bank has been an enormous supporter of dress over the years, and I'm excited to hear a little bit about what that means to U.S. Bank, but also what it means to you. Because Stacey, you have like a personal sort of connection to the work we do, right? There's a little button right there. There we go.
How about that?
Much better.
Thank you. Thank you, Sarah, for having me here. And I wanted, before I answer your question, I just want to say thank you to Letitia and the courage that it takes to make the life decisions that you've been making these last few years. So congratulations to you. You're a powerhouse, I can tell. Yeah, so I have had the privilege of knowing strong women most of my life, and much like Joy on the video, my own mother was a single mom. She was a teenager, age 17, when she was pregnant with my sister, and then I came a little bit later. And so having grown up in a household raised by a single mom who worked 2 jobs just to make sure that my sister and I had what we needed to be successful in our lives, I think when you grow up in an environment like that, it defines who you are and kind of what goes on in your head and your heart when you experience other people who have similar lived experiences. And so whether it's Dress for Success or other organizations that are designed to empower and build women up, those are the organizations that get me every time. So I'm really privileged to actually lead in as a large employer, a majority of which our employees are women, and many of them experiencing many of the things that Letitia talked about. We have employees who are facing those same decisions every single day. And so we have to think a lot about how do we show up for them and how do we support them. And I had an opportunity just this last week to participate in an event with women CEOs from around the United States. And what women are going through during this time is unlike anything that we've experienced, certainly in my lifetime and in many people's lifetime. And the female recession that is the outcome of COVID has really taken everything that is broken in our society for women and made it all the more broken. So you think about these childcare decisions, right? Childcare decisions were hard pre-COVID. Now we have a childcare scarcity issue. Good luck finding someone, much less finding a childcare provider who is affordable. And so what it has really done for women is it has put so much reliance on the employers to be generous and empathetic and to be kind in ways that I don't know that business has always been pushed quite the way we're being pushed right now to support women in the workplace. So all of that, to not in a very concise way answer your question, all of that gets me thinking every single day about the decisions that we make, about the way we show up, and how I personally show up for the women at U.S. Bank, the women that we serve as customers, and the community organizations like yours who make dreams possible. And how can we help be a part of being that dream maker with you?
Well, I can't thank you enough for the support of U.S. Bank. And one other question I wonder about is, when you were a child, what was that relationship like with your mom? You mentioned her, but what was it like looking up to her in those moments?
I listened to Joy on the video, and I thought, you're talking about my mom. This is my mom. But no, she was a bartender and a waitress, so not on the professional track whatsoever. But she worked her tail off, and things like working 2 jobs so that I could have braces, orthodontics, and knowing that when you meet someone in a professional setting, the first thing they see is your eyes and your smile. And she wanted her girls, 2 daughters, to have a smile. So she worked 2 jobs to make sure that we got our orthodontics. She couldn't be there for a lot of the things that a lot of moms are there for. When I had a solo in the choir program, she was working, things like that. But what I always knew is that I was her priority. And she received tremendous support. She did not participate in a Dress for Success or anything quite like that, but we had amazing generosity around us my entire life. And that generosity came in, winter coat drives when we would be home, and my sister and I didn't know how these new winter coats, how we got them, but we sure as heck loved them, and things like that. And so when I think of her, I think about the courage it took for her to get up every single day and put one foot in front of the other, to know that she had 2 girls that she needed to provide a bright future for, and that she needed to be a model for kindness and generosity for others. And that was one of the things that she modeled for us, is even when she just had the bare minimum, she gave what she had freely to others around us. And we were always surrounded by people who cared for us. If we lived in a neighborhood where she would bake the bread and everyone in our immediate neighborhood would get a loaf of bread. Meanwhile, the garden, the woman that had the amazing garden would give us veggies from the garden. And so it's kind of that village approach. And when I think about Dress for Success, and I think about your women's leader group, and that you can jump in there now, even though you're not technically enrolled, that you can jump in and they're your village, and they're there for you. And that's part of who we are as a society, too, is we're the village for one another. So that's how
And
I
we
think about
should say that Letitia got 2 job offers. 2 job offers after that experience with Dress.
That's so awesome. That's great, Letitia.
Something that you just said is you mentioned about kindness, and I'm trying to keep the tears out of my eyes because when my mom passed away 8 years ago, I was talking to people, obviously, at the funeral and around that time, and I swear, 8 out of 10 people said, "Your mom was so kind." And I just thought, if I can live that kindness, and if I can be with people who have that kindness in their heart, then that is success. And that's the people in this room. And I just would like to thank all of you. In our last few minutes, we are going to close off with the co-chairs of our board here at Dress for Success. Stacey,
Sarah, thank you
so much. I think we're